Okay, it looks like we're on. So today, what I want to do is go back to that story about masks in Affinity, because yesterday I stumbled upon that because it's not handled at all like it is in Photoshop. But but this morning I tried to figure it out, and I think now But this morning I tried to figure it out, and now I get it. So the first thing we need to understand with masks in Affinity is that it's some kind of a spatial status. Actually, in Affinity, you can see that you have an element that is not really present in Photoshop, and it's this little icon near to the layer. And this icon both gives information on what the layer is, but you can also see it as some kind of primitive, because different types won't have the same properties. And a mask is a very particular object. So at the moment, it's an image with a link, meaning that it's the same thing as what's the name in Photoshop? A dynamic object, which means that I can replace it and that it's non-destructive. But I can turn it into pixels with rasterize, and now it's a bunch of pixels and it's destructive. But I can also, and this is the piece I was missing yesterday, we can also rasterize to mask, in which case you get a mask. And there's a difference, because if I were to, let's say, take this and create a mask, very similar for workflow as in Photoshop, I have a mask on the side, and I also have the layer that's accessible inside. But what's different here is if I activate this, it will cut out everything that's below it. So if I were to create a new pixel layer and fill it with red, and now move it, if it's under, it will get cut like the rest of the pixels that are under it. So it's more akin to, I don't remember the exact name, but there's something very similar in After Effects. So quite handy. And you can absolutely also, once it's turned into a mask, you can use it as a mask, and voila. And you have, and also, since it lives inside of this layer, it's nested inside. So if I move, everything moves together. There's no chain mechanic like in Photoshop. It's more like nested logic like C4D. But if I put it on top of everything, like it was at first, see, I will move my layer, but the mask is not moving with it. Well, it's all very logical when you know, when you understand how it works. It's just a tiny bit different to Photoshop. Anyways, there is another option, which it's the one that we saw yesterday. And let me just bring back the alpha mask we had earlier. So, oh, Control E doesn't work. Weird. No, it's Control O. All right. It was, where was it? It was, yes, it was this one. So, okay. Ah. Mm. Okay, right there, mask alpha. Okay, so if I drop it directly, it's a dynamic object. It's called image right here. So yesterday, we saw that this works. Hmm, I'm confused. This morning, when I tested this, the behavior was different. It turned this object into a clipping mask. Oh, this time it did. So what did I do wrong? Yeah, all right. I know what happened. So I simply dragged the mask inside of the layer, only uh, which only linked it to said layer and also composited it over, which is a bit weird. It sits under, but all right. And this is not what I needed to do to turn that into a mask. I need to drag it and drop it on the thumbnail. And here, see, it's once again a different icon. And this icon is the clipping mask icon. And uh, the behavior is, I'm not an expert in Illustrator by any means, but I think at least it's the same wording, and I think it's the same principle. It's cut out with shape and not with pixels. And if I were, for instance, to go in vector mode and create a shape and use this, so once again, a new primitives. Here we have a shape layer. So this one is a rectangle, but if I were to use another one, does it have a name? Yes, it's called segment, but they both share the same icon. And if I use the rectangle and drop it here, it also creates a clipping mask, and it's the exact same icon. And you can double composite clipping masks. It looks like they have some Boolean options attached automatically. So it's like, yeah, it's a bit like pathfinders in Illustrator. Anyways, so you can say that in Affinity, contrary to Photoshop, you have two kinds of maskings. You have maskings with pixels, you have masking with pixels, like you have masking with pixels, and it's black and white values, and it's akin to Luma mask in After Effects. Or you have clipping masks, and it's masking with shape or alpha, and it's akin to just alpha in After Effects, not Luma Mate, alpha mate. No, I'm sorry. It's matte, so not Luma matte, alpha matte. Anyways, now, sorry, I forgot to activate do not disturb. All right. So I think that now I mostly understand it, and I hope you do too, in case it wasn't clear. I think coming from Photoshop, it's not really super clear, especially because you have little quirks like the fact that thumbnails are always squares, and sometimes you see things that are, what would be the term? That go past the canvas, which is weird. Also, another difference is that in Photoshop, you can easily copy, paste pixels in the mask. And this is not how it's done in Affinity. And this is pretty disturbing when you're used to doing it with copy-paste. Anyways, so let's move on to the next topic, which was, so let's go back to the little menu for a sec. Where are you, Arc? It's there. So this we did, Affinity mask. So I wanted also to make, to find a way to do scatter variants. If I'm not being clear, scatter variants, the idea would be like we did scatter the Houdini logo, and I want to be able to scatter a collection of objects. So this is something that is pretty common in various pieces of software. In Houdini, in SOPs, you can do that pretty easily this is a node, I keep forgetting the name, and every time it's a struggle to find it, but it's like something like attribute by class or something like that. Anyway, I know exactly how to wire the thing. I just can't seem to remember the name of the node. But it's not a big deal because I already prepared a little setup. But I know also that you can do that in CKD pretty easily. You just take a bunch of primitives or objects and nest them inside the cloner, and bam, you have scattered variants. And until today, I absolutely expected that it was possible to do in COPS, but what I didn't know is that it would be that easy. Maybe it's a Houdini 21 thing because I did it using cables, which were introduced in Houdini 21. But let's move on. Yeah, so before we do that, I wanted to create a nice rounded corner Affinity icon, because at the moment it's not good. So also, it's a bit stupid, but I did have a pretty hard time finding how to have the checkerboards background when to display alpha in the settings, because it's not in the settings, it's in the document setup, which lives here, maybe I'm not, yeah, document setup and transparent background. So in case you struggle with that too, here it is. Well, let's move to the Affinity logo. So document setup, I guess this is where I can choose the size. Okay. This is so handy. Okay. So let's save this one instead of the one we already have in Notion. Oh. Okay, maybe it was a JPEG. Okay, so let's move to Houdini now. And so as you can see, I already have this setup going, but just so yesterday we were at this. And I just removed those two because, but this is the states where we were yesterday. So to do the variance scatter, we call a cable packed node, and this allows to group several things together. If I take a look at it, I only see the first input, but once I go there, you can see that it did scatter the different objects. And if I were, so let's just replace it by the one we just created. Oh yeah, yesterday I did copy it inside of the project. Okay, so let's bring back the color because I think I want to export the background with the colors and keep the possibility to edit that inside of Affinity instead of doing it in Copernicus. So I want to try to spend a few seconds to fix that issue. I know it's fixable because I think I remember I did it in a project. I simply don't remember it. So let's start by inspecting how our CopNet. So it wraps in the border. All right. Oh, also, another thing I want to do today is for the dark mode thumbnails, I realized that I really shouldn't be rendering anything at all. It should all be done in cups because I have no 3D in it, honestly. So it's pretty useless to go in through such hoops. So cups only for dark mode, which means that we need to sample. We need to size our composition to be landscape aspect ratio, and we will use 4K. So let's resize it. And I'm wondering if, yeah, wrap is probably correct. Oh, so we are reading, which is nice, but not really necessary. Okay, so now it's fixed. Oh no, it's not. We have the problem right here. So let's give it 5-minute stops, and if I don't find during those 5 minutes, I will take note of this problem and look for a solution in my own time and come back to you with said solution. Okay, let's keep it. Actually, so it's super big now, but is it cropped? I don't know. Let's scale it down. Stretch tile. I don't really understand. I don't know what tile they're talking about. Oh, interesting. I was looking for that too. Random U. Not really random U, but how to keep a few stamps with their color and other stamp alpha. Okay, so there's an alpha section, definitely worth looking into. Okay. Interesting. So this already is interesting. Hmm. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. I think that's enough. And I will take note of that, revisit it on my own time. And now, so scatter variance, we did find how to do it, but it spawned a new problem, which is cropped variance. And now we can move to the cops only for dark mode. And so hey, let's do a little cleanup pass. All of this is useless. What is this? I think it's the topic. Yes, we don't need it anymore since we're doing that in Affinity. There really is a case for doing that. Go away. And let's simply keep that. Okay, let's bring in the pictures. Let's even take the nodes this way. So let's call that thumbnail. Dark mode cops only. Okay, so this definitely shouldn't be wrapped. So is there something to prevent that? Order clip. No. Nope. No. Okay. This is the one. So let's blend those two. Okay, so I need to size the picture correctly. At the moment, it's not. Yes, it's a square, I think. So yeah, all of that exists to make it a square. If I get rid of all of that, still incorrect. What was the trick? It was ref something, size ref. And let me check. Oh, crap. I deleted it, so maybe with resample. Uh, Maybe I'm just being a tiny bit stupid here, but okay, this was enough. The last border control is the one which wins apparently. So maybe if I go back here to auto, it doesn't change a thing. Yeah. I'm mistaken. So no, this is still incorrect. Hmm. I really need to understand that because I mean it's pretty basic and I don't have it. So this still lives in this bounding box. What if I blend over this? It's not how it's used. I'm not sure what I'm missing here, but it's pretty annoying. I don't think there's any progress. I mean, I definitely can or maybe I can't cut it. This makes it not working at all. I'm really annoyed. Oh, okay, so it's time to ask for help. Where am I? I'm currently in Copernicus, and I don't really understand how borders are handled. I have my COP network set to a specific size, which is 4K. My background is okay. I want to copy on top of the background picture because it's a YouTube thumbnail. My problem is that the dimension of the pictures do not line up with the dimensions of the background, and I have cycling stuff like wrap or mirror in the bounding box of my picture, and I want to be able to match the bounding box of my picture without triggering the repetition stuff to the bounding box of the background. But I failed to do it. I think that there are nodes like layers and things like that, but I've tried a lot of stuff and I don't get it. So I'm here asking for help, and yeah, maybe I'm not clear at all, but if I'm not, please ask me for precisions. In the meantime, let's look at this. This node. So in Copernicus, every layer has a data window where the actual pixel live, and a display window, the canvas bounds. When your picture is smaller than your 4K background, its data window doesn't cover the full canvas. The border mode controls what happens in the gap. Okay, the fix. You need to think, match the resolution and set the border to clip or constant. The sample cup. Make it fit the 4K canvas. Yes, I did that. Wire your picture into the source first input. So let's try. It's solution. So resample. Size ref. Do they have? Yes. Okay. Go. So same thing. Wire your picture in the source input. Wire your background into the size ref input. Ah, the background, not the size ref. So let's use the background. Doesn't change a thing. Set size control to aspect ratio. Turn on reframe to destination. Oh, reframe to destination. This sounds promising. This sounds really nice. This sounds really nice. Stretch to fit. No. Fit maximally. No. No. This is not good. Fit maximally is not good. This is not good at all. But I'm sure okay, so okay, so parameter. I don't know exactly what base size was doing, but okay. It's still incorrect. Okay, so this makes it unique. The problem is that in this particular case, we should have the transfer before, I think, because, okay, finally, we're there. Yes. So, the correct workflow is use the resample nodes, give it the correct size. Size control should be resolution, base size, size input. Do not reframe to destination. So what was it that I was doing at first? Because I was using vanilla settings. So let's check what has been changed. So I think I wired it like that earlier. And here, yeah, we still get the size of this bounding box, which is not the correct term, canvas. So was it enough to put it before? No, I don't think. No, definitely. So what's the difference? Difference is there. I'm intrigued, honestly. Stretch to fit horizontally. This makes no sense. This makes zero sense. What do they say in the help? No, it's not this node. The resample. If frame to destination is on, this parameter has no effect since the display window doesn't stretch differently. Stretch to fit stretches the pixels within the new display window. The display window is scaled natively according to the same scale that the data window is scaled at. Maintain the original aspect ratio and aspect ratio by scaling the display window. Okay. I'm not sure I understand what the display window is and what the other stuff is. Nonetheless, I think this terminology is pretty not what you would expect, because stretch to fit. Yeah, okay. So I will make a recipe because this is so unclear that I'm sure I will forget about it. So let's create a recipe and call it reformat. Okay, so now we can blend over, please. This will be sufficient. Why? Why? Is there some scaling somewhere that I'm not aware of? Resolution scale, resolution scale. Ay, 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 ay. I'm losing it, honestly. Okay, it's already been 1 hour, and I will need to go soon. I'm a bit frustrated that it's been so difficult to do such a simple thing, but I mean, I asked for it, so let's not complain too much. But man, this is ridiculous. What's the deal here? Let's try with constants. Make it RGB yellow. No, orange, yeah. And why is that instead? Huh. Wait a second. What? No, I'm doing nonsense. I'm doing nonsensical stuff. I think we're close, but I don't think I can say why it's resized. Pixel size. I was in resolution. Pixel size. Do we have hope? No. I'm going to cry. What? Are we good? I think we are. Oh my god. So, the problem was this rasterize. Keep the layer in the same location space, but re-rasterize the pixel as if it had been transformed. Sure. Do I even need the resample in that case? I don't. Okay, so it was definitely easy, and I was definitely the culprit, and this is definitely a skill issue, and this is because no, I didn't click the rasterize toggle myself. I'm sure there's a reason why it's the default, but since I didn't click it myself, I feel a little less guilty about not finding why it wasn't working and why I couldn't move the thing around like I wanted. So maybe one day I will discover why rasterize is the default, why it's named the way it is. Anyways, I love Houdini. I really do. I just really don't get how they name stuff. It's often very misleading, misrepresenting, or miss something, in my opinion. And yeah, this rasterize option on the transform has been the culprit all along. But this is a nice lesson, and since it was streamed and this whole galère, we would say in French, has been recorded, I'm sure I won't forget about it ever. So maybe just let's save that as our recipe instead of the previous one. Reformat. I search for bounding box. Okay. Yes, I want to replace it. Okay. Okay, good. We're there. Okay, so I need to wrap up because I have a meeting after that. I think the most interesting part of this stream, anyways, have been covered. I don't think it's very interesting to see me use Affinity. So, yeah, this is it for today. Maybe I should take some notes about what I still need to understand for next time. So yeah, those cropped variants are definitely something to look for. Also, I would like to understand how to have, see, I think it's not super easy to understand exactly what, also maybe I should use the composite view rather, yeah. So no, this is a non-issue. I should work in that, in the compositing view. It would make things easier because this way I can see the canvas borders. So no, this item is not to be on the list. So cups only for dark mode. We're almost there, I think. We will be able to do the backgrounds since we figured out the, yeah, so export masks. Using ID. So this is today. No. I don't remember. So next. Yeah, using ID, I'm very curious about this ID output. It's pretty useful, I think, but I'm not exactly sure how to leverage it correctly. So yeah, there are still stuff to discover for next time. And yeah, I already said that, but that's it for today. If for some reason you end up watching this, I appreciate you watching, and I'll continue streaming hopefully, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks and ciao.